Hello everybody, I am Angry Bird. Welcome back to some more Normandy 44 Christmas Cup. Today's game we have the losers round 3, Herr versus Solo Wing Pixy. The winner of this game will face off against Evelyn, and then the winner of that game will proceed on to the final. So this is kind of like a quarter-final as such, but obviously because it's down in the losers bracket, not quite called a quarter-final, if that makes sense. Right, let's have a look at the matchup itself. We have Herr on the left hand side in red, playing the 21st Panzer. Their income curve is 85 points in A, 120 points in B, and 125 points in C phase. Solo Wing Pixy is on the right hand side of this map, playing in blue and representing the Guards Armoured. Their income curve is 80 points in A phase, 125 in B, and 130 in C. So a very even income curve for both players, very similar. I do not feel the income changes will really deeply affect this matchup. I think it's going to come down to how both players play, how they both play on this map, and how they trade against each other, really. Herr playing the 21st Panzer, he has at his disposal the Königstiger in all three of them in C phase. So looking to really take this game to C phase and win out with those Königstigers. I'm guessing he's kind of looking to establish a decent control with his less expensive units, and then use his C phase income to get those Königstigers, because they are 350 points a piece. So that's 3 minutes worth of income to afford a Königstiger. Very different to Steel Division 2. And only 3 of them in total, even with both cards in C phase. The other units he's going to be using, well, he's going to be relying on the Beuter Shermans in B phase, I think. If you can do some good work with them, they will stand him in good stead. The Panzergrens, decent infantry, and the maybe the ME109 G2 BR21s with the rockets in B phase as well. I think actually this is all going to come down to whether he can hold off in the early game and make it through to phase C and potentially get those Königstigers out. Let's have a look at Solo Wing Pixy's deck. He has the AEC Mark III in A phase. I think that unit... No, the Guards Armoured are not in Normandy 44. We best be quick because the game has kicked off. But yeah, they've got the Stuarts in A phase, the Cromwells and the Shermans in B phase, and then the Fireflies. They're going to have to do the job of taking on the Königstigers in C phase. The Typhoon AT units, both of them in C phase, 2 at 2 stars. They're also going to be handy for taking on those Königstigers. Otherwise, he's going to have to be reliant on side shots from the tanks and also the 17 pounders. The 6 pounders and 17 pounders very strong on this game, as they are on Steel Division 2 with the Scots as well. Let's get into the game and see the action as it unfolds. Here, Robert looks like he's advancing mostly on the... I was going to say on the southern side. He's not got a massive amount of units out at the moment. Solo Wing Pixy's got a fair bit in the south. Looks like he may be trying to take more control in the south than in the north. Fairly defensive in the north. I feel like this is why we're getting... we're not having a great deal of time to discuss decks, is because actually Normandy, there's just a whole lot less units, so the players have a lot less time to they spend a lot less time putting the units out at the start of the game because there's much less of them. So actually we have less time to talk about the decks. The Humber Mark III engaging the half tracks at range, and that Humber Mark III, I feel like Solo Wing Pixy should push that forward. There's nothing really here that can take out that Humber. We do have what looks like probably a Pack 40 that is moving into position that will threaten that. But the Cromwell 6 is engaging at range. The half track gets bailed out and taken out by the Humber Mark 3. Infantry for Solo Wing Pixy advancing through the forest. Here Robert bringing in a Aufklab, but only one Panzergren there. They surely are going to go down to the rifles, and this could be an early lead for Solo Wing Pixy if you can pick up the kills of this group of unit. No AT on the infantry though, so the SPW 222 and the U304 should escape punishment for now. Potentially only the Humber Mark III that can be used, but the S307 and F Pack is in position. Wow, the Avcla moving forwards has managed to get out of those woods, but I think that Humber Mark III may take it down if they are revealed. They do stay unrevealed, but I think Solo Wing Pixy, once he moves the Recce up, they will eventually be revealed. Oh, it was a Pack 4388. I was wondering because the Moutier brought that unit in, so I'm kind of surprised that Robert invested in the early Pack 4388mm and not a lower quality Pack gun. It's a very expensive 125-point AT gun to buy in A phase. I mean, that should indicate to Solo Wing Pixy that Herr Robert doesn't have a hell of a lot of units if he spent 125 points on an AT gun. Solo Wing Pixy does have the Recce unit fairly far forward, and the spotting in this game is much better than in Steel Division 2. So potentially may be able to spot that Pack 43 if it does come out to the edge of the forest. I feel like Solo Wing Pixy, oh, the 6-pounder back there, does get the kill on one of the half tracks. And for me, it's all about Solo Wing Pixy getting rid of this SPW 222, the units on this southern side, and that should maybe tip the balance into his favour at the moment. Here Robert has the 51% map lead. The recon unit, the Recces, won't hold the front line forward, so could do with like an infantry unit in this sort of hedgerow holding this front line forwards, and that would really help Solo Wing Pixy out. Fairly cautious start from both players. I feel like Solo Wing Pixy maybe is being cautious because of the possibility of a Konig's Tiger. He will not know that Herr Robert does not have them until C phase, but I feel like he should know now that there isn't at least one on the field in his starting forces, and so he should begin to put more pressure on. I like the choice of the Cromwell 7 coming into this southern side. Certainly, unless the S307 Pack can take that out, that's got free reign on this southern side so far, as long as it doesn't get too close to the edge of the forest, where these the Panzergrens can get into play. But yeah, fairly defensive start from both players. The half tracks bringing the motorised rifles in. I would have liked a motorised rifle down here. Oh, internal fragments on the SPW 222. The Cromwell Mark 7 should get the kill against that unit. Yep, does get the fuel explosion, and that really opens up this southern side. I'd like to see the rifles now. Yes! Push down to the edge of the forest, reveal and destroy the Panzergrens that are held there. So really, it's all reliant on this S307F Pack. The Brumbar is coming in to provide that 1,200 meter. No, it's only 1,000 meter range. So yeah, surprised by the choice of this Brumbar here. Yeah, I am kind of surprised by this choice. Maybe it was a reaction to the 6-pounder that was down here, but yeah, I am surprised by that choice. Actually, at 12 frontal armor, the Cromwell 7 could, you know, potentially have difficulty penetrating that Brumbar. They both seem to be moving forwards at the moment, both on fast move, which are again strange movement types for Robert, I think, to be given his units. The rifles did reveal and destroy the Panzergrens with the help of the Cromwell 7. More Panzergrens revealed. The Humber, I think, just sneaking back, potentially just had a sight onto that Brumbar. I feel like maybe that Brumbar is in response to this 6-pounder, but not 100% sure of Robert's intentions at this point. Potentially, actually, yeah, he's getting into position to pound the edge of this forest, I think, if these rifles stay revealed for too long. The S307 pack is firing on the M5 half-track, so Pixy, well, loses that half-track now. The Brumbar does fire, pins down the rifle, so the strength of that cannon is a very strong 150mm cannon, 27 damage in Steel Division Normandy. The Cromwell actually fire positioning onto the edge of the forest, thinks that Pak 43 88mm is there, but Robert has moved that out of the way. Potentially did bring that out to engage in the northern side. Looks like Robert's concentrating more on the north than the south here. It's 50-50 so far. I think Solo Pixy needs to get an infantry unit into this central area to hold some front line. Both the rifles are falling back to the fire from the U304s, and yeah, without some motorized rifles in here, Solo Pixy's finding it difficult to advance because he keeps coming up against infantry units. But this Brumbar is just slowly pushing forwards, and I feel like it's going to go down to the Cromwell 7 once it gets into place, and Robert's pushing it back again. Potentially is a little bit more worried. I'd like to see maybe an AT gun come down here and across into this hedgerow if it can. Let's have a look at the northern side. It looks like Robert's doing a lot more movement up there in the north, pushing forwards with the infantry, and a number of Solo and Pixy's half tracks have been damaged. Nothing too major at the moment. In comes a Humber Mark III with more recce, I would say. And I still think he needs an infantry unit down here, although it looks like the Humber is actually pushing the front line forwards, which is kind of a surprise because I'd have thought that Humber would have been classed as a recon vehicle, but obviously isn't, only classed as a transport. So yeah, that is actually holding the front line forwards, but the Pak 43 88, oh, it's right on the edge, needs to unload and hopefully spot that. Wow, coming right up close, Panzergren with the Panzerfaust surely will get the kill. Does get the critical ammo explosions. Those recce have to get out of there. Yep, do die. And wasted opportunity for Solo Wing Pixy there. Territory falls back into the hands of Herr Robert. But the Pak 43 was spotted, and the Cromwell does engage, continually trying to get that Pak 43, but not really getting the opportunity to take any health hits against that Pak 43. For now, here Robert has kind of stalled Solo Wing Pixy in this forest, and I feel like if Solo Wing Pixy had something in the central area, potentially it would be enough to hold the point lead at the moment, but he doesn't, although he is making an attack in the north with the Cromwell, Stuart, Humber and the M5 half-track backed up by the 6-pounder. I feel like this can do some serious damage actually in this northern side, especially if you can keep that Pak 43 at bay. Hey, Robert's only got that one Pak 43 right now, and the Cromwell is finally engaging the Brumbar. The Brumbar takes the first shot, misses, although the S307 is also engaging. Solo Wing Pixy did not like the odds there, 2 against 1. Ooh, potentially could push forward again. Now the crew knockout comes down, but no, I think it's choosing not to engage in there. Oh, the 6-pounder is now moving forwards. It has taken a hit, potentially from the Brumbar, but that 6-pounder could be put into a deadly position. I feel like though, as soon as it's going to reveal itself, it is going to take some damage, or Herr Robert's going to try and find another way to get rid of that 6-pounder. So I'd like to see another 6-pounder coming in to cover off against the loss of this one, because I expect it will go down at some point. It's pushing very far forwards, potentially will go down. This attack in the north is kind of not really gotten any steam. The unit's not really revealed at the moment. Oh, the Panzergrens do hit the M5 half-track, does reveal themselves, get instantly pinned down and almost go out there, but I think the leader, yeah, the Panzergren Führer threw smoke there, saving the lives of his men. well, the 2 men remaining, although they are now under fire from the motorized rifles. And wow, bailed out Panzer 35S. First shot from the Stuart 5, although the Panzer 4G and Marder 1 are in position now. Spalling driver wounded down onto the Stuart, and the Humber is potentially a difficult spot as well. I'm not sure exactly what fired in on the infantry there. Potentially it was the Panzer 4G, not 100%. The Humber's backing away. There is the Command Cromwell here that can do a decent job, but it equally can get taken out by the Panzer 4G. The Humber Mark III is pushing forward on the north, but the SPW 222 coming around the corner. Who will get the first shot off? Big engagement. Oh, the SPW 222 gets the critical ammo explosion. Takes out the Humber Mark III. Oh, and down goes the Cromwell 7 to, I believe, the Panzer 4G. Some big kills on this northern side, and I think had those units all not have gone down, Solo and Pixy would have been in a fairly decent position. But that's really hurt him in that northern side. We're into B phase. Out comes a Firefly up on that northern side. Also a Sexton coming down, continually trying to harass that Pack 43 88mm. Finally get some shots on target. The Cromwell 7 was not doing the job, and I feel like Solo Wing Pixie has had the advantage fairly early on, and Herr Robert's deck is built towards the later game. So I think from now on Herr Robert will be, well, I feel like he was at his weakest in Phase A. Potentially Solo Wing Pixie, potentially he's missed his opportunity there. The southern side as well, I mean, there's some key units defending for Herr Robert, but if he could take down the Brumbar and the pack, wow. Boyta Sherman, sorry, coming in now, and that will make things much harder. The rifles pushed out of the forest, and potentially Herr Robert could start to get a lead now with the territory change once these rifles get destroyed, because they're in the open ground now. There's not much else they can really do at this point. A whole group of rifles all hunkering into this tree line. Let's try and get a view. Look at the number of rifles all in this tree line. Ouch. Yeah, one hit from the Panzer 4G there, and they're all pinned down and falling back. Ouch. They would not have liked to have been in that position. The Firefly does come out into this northern side, going very far north, and potentially looking to push up this northern flank. Can't be flanked from this side, so potentially that's the play from Solo Wing Pixie. The Sexton still engaging now on the infantry in that forest. The Pack 43 is still alive, and Herr Roberts, well, he's done a decent job of keeping it alive, but you know, potentially that was the only AT gun around early on in this game. Solo Wing Pixie had the opportunity, I feel like, to push further forwards. The Panzer 4G does take out one of the infantry, retreating through the hedgerows. There's a Panzer 35S still bailed out. Herr Robert's got now a number of armoured units. I feel like he's really reinforcing the entirety of his front line, making it pretty strong, and I feel like you'd have to say that Herr Robert's in a much stronger position right now than Herr Robert is. The Cromwell 7 finally starts to move around the southern side, takes a shot from the S307 pack, and then decides to back off once again. The Boyta Sherman, it's going to be a pretty decent unit around this southern side. The Shermans are very good at engaging very quickly at short range, but the Firefly coming onto the field, and that can match the Sherman, and certainly is going to be a great matchup against the units down here. I'd like to see Solo Wing Pixie use the Firefly in conjunction with the Cromwell and the Humber Mark III all together, all at once, and I think he can take down this group of units that Herr Robert has. The southern side could definitely be the area that Solo Wing Pixie makes some ground. The Firefly continuing to move forwards now. Looks like Herr Robert pushing forwards infantry into this town. Will he get there in time? The Opel Blitz does have to unload the Panzergrenz early, but I feel like they will just get into the house in time, and that's a nice little spot for the Panzergrenz to get into. So he still has some rifles, but some Pioneers advancing on them, and the Pioneers should win that one out. The Firefly does engage with the S307 pack. I feel like the S307 pack is going to go down now, surely on this shot. Falling back. That's kind of enough for now. I'm surprised the Humber Mark III isn't pushing forwards. The Cromwell is doing so. And at some point, surely the Spar Trooper are going to get revealed. And that's going to be Herr Robert's eyes down in this southern side. Firefly engaging the Brumbar now at the 1,200 metre range. The Brumbar cannot reply. All round the corner, the Cromwell comes, engaging with the Boy to Sherman. This will be a nice little engagement. Both tanks can take each other out. There's one extra armour on the Cromwell, but I think at this range it won't make too much of a difference. Both tanks can really get into their own. The Firefly has to be worried about being this close to the forest. The Panzergrens are moving across. Potentially we could get a Panzerfaust kill onto that Firefly. That would be a big kill for Herr Robert. Finally, the S307 pack comes down. There is a Mortier coming in with probably a Pack 43 88mm there. The Cromwell just reversed slightly under fire from the Marder 1. The Firefly reversing away from the edge of that forest. The Cromwell, yeah, under fire from both the Marder 1 and the Boy to Sherman, and falls back behind the edge of that hedgerow. Should be okay for now. Some half tracks coming in with reinforcing infantry. Need to get them unloaded because that Panzergren is on the edge of the forest, but it is revealed. Not sure whether that did manage to take a shot off against the Firefly. The Sexton coming in with artillery fire, and the Boy to Sherman using those 50 cals. Well, the 150 cal, the 230 cals to engage against those rifles. The Pack 43 88. I'd like to see that take a position down here. And this could be a nice little spot for it with this little orchard area to able to play around the sight lines. I feel like, yeah, that's what Herr Robert's going to do, and that's a good job. Look at the numbers coming into this southern side from Solo and Pixy. Not much action going on in the north. It's all about the south right now, and the Pioneers under Sexton attack. 2 Sextons on the field. The Assault Pioneers do get into range. Looks like both sides have used HE grenades here. The Pioneers are pinned down. The Assault Pioneers only have the are they? Yeah, they're only the 5-man squads, and they only have 1 HE grenade. So yeah, interesting choice. The Humber Mark III does go down, probably to the Boy to Sherman there. Actually, the Cromwell is engaging the Sherman, and he's in a nice little spot. What's the Pack 43? I think potentially opening up against the rifles. Oh no, against all the infantry and half tracks in there. Wow, and also more to, well, Sexton fire coming down on his own Assault Pioneers. Cromwell 7 coming into this southern side for Solo and Pixy. Needs to unload this half track, and that Pack 43 is getting into a pretty dangerous position. Look at the number of half tracks back here that Herr Robert's got. Solo and Pixy, you know, he's managed to keep Herr Robert at bay. Herr Robert's got a 173 point lead so far. Very tight game. Dingo coming into the northern side. Kind of surprised by the positioning here. There's nothing, you know, I'd have thought it would be. Wow, and down it goes. Down it goes. I think to the... I'm not sure. Probably this yeah, this Panzer 4G down here. They take it out. The half track goes down to the Panzer 4G, who quickly escapes back out of range. The Firefly actually reversing there. And Soloing Pixie, I think, is struggling to micro in the north and the south at the same time. I feel like this Dingo should have been behind this forest, not all the way down here. I feel like there was an odd choice of positioning. A lot of rifles, Assault Pioneers in this forest. And yeah, a lot of close range infantry engagement now. Again, Solo and Pixie doesn't have AT on his infantry, so he's gonna come up against a wall of half tracks that Herr Robert has got placed there, and it's kind of intelligent use by Herr Robert because he can't really push out his half tracks with the tanks that are there, so he's kind of lined them up against this forest so that at any point an infantry reveals itself, it's just going to come under a huge amount of half track fire. Pioneers pushing back into this forest, but Solo and Pixie has won out the infantry engagement for now. I'd like to see him just, rather than trying to get to the edge of this forest, just try and push northwards through the heavy forest. But yeah, this is going to be a difficult attritional fight. I feel like the guards will just win out in the infantry fight in the long run. I think that's Sexton fire coming down on a number of units. Yes, it is. in that more northern position. That Panzer 35S still bailed out there, but it's going to be difficult for Herr Robert to get a supply truck into that area. And now we have the first Königstiger onto the field. It is a 2-star Königstiger. And 22 armor penetration. No armor is going to stand in the way of those shells. The Pak 43 is pinned down by the Cromwell 6. I like the choice to bring this down south. I think this is where Solo Wing Pixy appears to be most potent. So I kind of think Herr Robert's covering off the southern side. Potentially the next one we see might go in the north. To really, I think he's going to have more chance of attacking in this northern side. I feel like he's needing to defend right now. So Solo Wing Pixy definitely is in a better position, I feel like. Although, yes, the northern one does come in now. Must have been saving up a fair bit of income because he's just brought in 2 Königstigers. That's 700 points within 2 minutes of each other. That's a hell of a lot of income. That's nearly 7 minutes worth of income. Maybe not quite 7. Maybe 5 or 6 minutes worth of income, but yeah, all in the space of sort of 2 minutes. He must have been holding on to a hell of a lot of income, which is potentially why Solo Wing Pixy has looked a little bit stronger to now. But those Königstigers, surely they are gonna command this battlefield. He kind of has to worry about a short range engagement. That's the only thing in this southern side. I think he's a bit freer in the northern side, especially coming into this kind of area. We'll have to see how it goes, but yeah, 1 shot, 1 kill on the Cromwell 7 in the back there. The Firefly is the big unit that can kill it, and it's just about Solo and Pixy, I think, using that unit most effectively. Potentially, you know, trying to sneak up, get the short range kill. Potentially even a side shot. In comes the Typhoon AT. This could do the job. With a side shot, falls back the Königstiger. Oh, second one coming in as well. We missed that second one coming in, but does not get the kill. And both of those will retreat. With the Pak 4388, yes, pinned down. We do see movement of the Firefly. This is a very good choice right now. The Cromwell 7 could take that Pak 43 out. The Firefly could take the kill on the Königstiger, surely. I'd like to see that start fast moving. Although the Boyder Sherman and the Marder 1 do come down to cover off against any fast movement down this road. Wow, nice side shot. The Firefly does take the side shot, but is now under threat from the Boyder Sherman and the Marder 1. Very tight sidelines here. Very tight sidelines. And the Firefly is backing away. He's trying to get out of range. Does now stop and engage that Marder 1. But the Firefly is fairly stressed out. One more shot should hurt him and send him into a... well, cause him to retreat. The Firefly engaging the Marder, misses. The bounce from the Sherman causes the Firefly to actually retreat out of line of sight there. So quite lucky from Solo Wing Pixy for that retreat. And nice kill on the Königstiger in the southern side. The double Typhoon AT gave the opportunity to the Firefly to pick up the kill. Beautiful work from Solo Wing Pixy. And look at this 17 pounder. I think this was coming through as well to try and get the kill at short range, maybe even a side shot onto that Königstiger. Lovely positioning. If he can just continue to kill the infantry, potentially could get that 17 pounder into a very nice spot. The 17 pounder is very potent, especially with the opportunity for a side shot against this Königstiger, or even a short range shot against the Königstiger. The Sextons continuing to pound the infantry. Very close fire, yeah, friendly fire onto these rifles, pinned down by their own artillery fire. The Firefly is still engaging everything that falls back from this forest. And this southern side is fairly open now. I think Herr Roberts, yes, moving in the open blitz munitions to resupply the Brumbar, but I never really found the Brumbar very effective myself. Look at the M5 half-track falling back, but it's too fast to be caught by the U304. And, well, it's the Werfrahmen 35, engaging the 2 tanks here. Could pick up potentially a kill with those rockets. very powerful rockets, 25 points of HE damage. What's this size? 280mm rocket, so only 100mm less than the Sturm Tiger, which we have, fairly recent addition to Steel Division 2. Two more probably rifle squads coming into this central ground. Potentially soloing Pixy. Yes, he's pushing through to the edge of this forest. And we still have a 50-50. Robert's got a very slight lead right now. Königsdagger in the northern side, not really pressing the pressing forwards, not really pressing the advantage. I'd like to have seen this come into the more central area. I mean, really push forwards and try and get the kills onto the artillery at the back here. That would be nice to see. I mean, yeah, I definitely want to see that Königsdagger in the more open ground. But the third and final Königsdagger onto the field in this southern side here. Robert's going to double down into the south. 1-5 half track rushing forwards. The motorised rifles this time getting out. I like the pick of the motorised rifles. They can at least damage the U-304s. And here Robert backing away, realising the threat from those motorised rifles. They have the 83mm heat projectile from the Piat, the spigot mortar, and the Firefly is once again backing away, potentially has sighted the mighty Königsdagger on the horizon and is backing away. Hey, Robert's not really pressed the northern side. I feel like that's where he's had the most opportunity, but I think actually soloing Pixy's been pretty aggressive in this south, which has meant that Herr Roberts had to kind of respond to that. I love the position of his 17-pounder. What a positioning, and the way that soloing Pixy's keeping it just back from the edge of the forest means that it won't necessarily get spotted immediately. He is just waiting for this Königsdagger to push forwards. I feel like we're going to see any moment now, we're going to see some Typhoon ATs come in, hit this Königsdagger. We're going to see the Firefly push forwards. We're going to see the 17-pounder push to the edge, and we're going to see this Königsdagger go down. It's just a matter of time right now. I think soloing Pixy is just biding his time, just waiting for this Königsdagger to get closer and closer until he feels he's in a position where he can launch that attack. But I feel that's going to be the course of action that he's going to be taking, and I feel like it's all going to be signalled by the incoming, the sight of the Typhoon ATs coming into the battleground. Those Sextons really punishing here Robert. No artillery on the side of him. Well, he has the BF. Wow, we've got a Robert smart spot of the Firefly there. So interesting choice to mark that spot, potentially for the Werfrahmen to fire onto that position. I was going to say the artillery for Herr Roberts very close range, rocket artillery from the Werfrahmen, and off map from the Bayo Panzer 38H. 170mm off map. Here come the Typhoons. This is going to launch the attack. I expect the Typhoons will come in. No, switching targets to the northern Königsdagger into the side shots. Wow, look at that, right into the side of that beast, and potentially that threw Herr Robert because they were aiming down to this southern side and then immediately switched north. I think Herr Robert was making a push, which is why that Königsdagger pushed forwards, and soloing Pixy reacted very, very quickly, switching micro of those Typhoon ATs, and that has really dented the push from Herr Robert. We have an off map coming down, which will hurt soloing Pixy, but I think, well, down goes the 6-pounder there, but I think there's still enough here to hold off any advance, especially with the destruction of that Königsdagger in the northern side. I think the difference for me, 21st Panzer in Steel Division Normandy compared to Steel Division 2. Ooh, down goes the Pak 43. That's been there from the start. Not really done too much though. I think the big difference for me, 21st Panzer, Steel Division Normandy versus Steel Division 2, you are utterly reliant on these Königsdaggers in Normandy, and you don't get many of them. But in Steel Division 2, I feel like you're less reliant on them. You still have, a bit more infantry. You have a little bit more infantry. You have a little bit, a little bit more tanks. I think you're not quite as utterly reliant on those Königstigers as you are in Steel Division Normandy. And the fact that you get more of the Königstigers as well really helps you out. So here Robert's lost 2 so far, he's got 1 more, that's it. But in Steel Division 2, I feel like you get 4 per card in Phase C. I may be mistaken here, but I think it's 4 per card in Phase C. So potentially you could have 8 instead of just the 3. Big difference there. It's a lot harder to kill 8 Königstigers than it is to kill 3. That is for sure. The Sherman 5 just absolutely decimating the infantry in this northern side with those 2 30 cals and the 50 cal all firing. I think it's just the 50 cal firing at the moment. The 30 cal is probably not quite in range. But yeah, those Shermans, fantastic fire supports. The Werframen didn't quite get the Firefly kill and actually has microed, although are these Sextons, yes, they're after the Flak 41 88 mils and should take that down if they're given the opportunity. The motorized rifles engaging with the Panzergrenz in the forest. So Lewin Pixie definitely got control of this forest now. Does have the +1, gets the victory tick and will pick up the victory in 7 minutes time unless Herr Robert can push back. And really, he needs to push back in the south. Wow, look at this off map. Ooh, with the destruction of that infantry, a lot of these units could move out the way, but look at the placement of that off map. There were so many units that were caught inside that little circle there, but potentially a lot of them could move out the way by the time that this off map comes down. I feel like they are going to, and look at that. Wow, Herr Robert will hate seeing that back. He probably will have seen this at the time, but wow, that off map could have been amazing. There was at least 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 more units that have moved out of the way of that off map. Solo Wing Pixie, unbelievably lucky there to be micro in that way. The 17 pounder almost in range, potentially could get the shot off. Oh, the Königstigers spotted it! The Königstigers spotted it, pinned down. Wow, that 17 pounder did not open fire early enough. It got spotted and I think that's going to go down, but that would have given Herr Robert the fright of his life there. But the Firefly has gone down, potentially did engage. I think here it is. Yes, it did back away from the Werframen strike and obviously backed into sight of the Königstiger and did engage. The 17 pounder has made it out. Potentially will be able to take its chance again against that Königstiger. I think reduce some more Typhoon ATs into that southern side. As soon as they reload, I expect them to come after that southern Königstiger. Cromwell 7 getting into action against the Panzer 4G in this northern side. Infantry just taking so much fire from all of the supporting vehicles. Firefly remaining on this top side, takes down the Panther 35S that had been bailed out. I think that was the one that had been bailed out for such a long time. The off-map's retreating, although I think maybe it had all 3 of its uses used. I think the 17 pounder push forward once again, but has been, yeah, fallen back by the Brumbar. The 88, Flak 41 88 has gone down in this southern side, and Robert's pushing forward the Opel Blitz with some reinforcing Panzergrenz, and this is some nice work from Herr Robert. He is pushing back in this southern side. So Lewin Pixie still has the +1 right now, but his advantage is diminishing as Herr Robert's pushing forwards. This Königstigger is so close though. If this 17 pounder gets a good shot off, that Königstigger could go down, and that would be, oh, it's looking into a side shot. This could be it. Tracks and wheels destroyed. Wow, I guess you can reface if your tracks and wheels are destroyed. Surely not. Does go down. Wow. It is going to be stuck there unless Herr Robert brings in a support truck. He does have one fairly nearby, but in comes the Typhoons. Will it finish up the job? Yes. The 2 Typhoons get the killing blow. And that's all of the Königstigers dealt with. Is that the impetus out of Herr Robert's battle group? Struggling what to say. Has the wind gone out of his sails. Is that it for Herr Robert? Let's find out. Well, we do have the Cromwell 7 and the Firefly pushing forwards here. There is a Pack 43 slowly making its way forwards. Will be a danger to those two units, but Soloing Pixie's looking very strong in this northern side. I feel like the north is going to go down. The very northern Firefly pushing forwards as well. Soloing Pixie has the +1, potentially could be looking at a +2 now. With that northern area, the Pack 43 is going to engage. I think, did he get a shot off there against the Cromwell? Potentially did so. Oh, it's just out of view. Does spot the Cromwell once again. Oh, tracks wheel damage. Not enough. Not enough. And the Firefly, the important one, is kind of being microed away. The Pack 43 does fire now onto the motorised rifles, but that won't be enough. The Firefly advancing around the back. That'll be a lovely positioning to threaten the reinforcement line. And there's going to be no more Königstigers coming in to threaten the Firefly. But Herr Robert is still making progress in this southern side. The Stuart coming in to quickly reinforce two Willys MMGs with their Recce coming in as well, and a Sherman 5. Potentially we're out of Fireflies for Soloing Pixie. Look at this half track coming around the back of the Brumbar. How has that happened? How did that half track get there without anything taking it out? Unbelievable. And there is just a tree there blocking sight from that Brumbar, which has allowed the half track to come through. It's still not been taken out. Unbelievable plays. The MMGs are going to go down. There is a number of infantry, and Recce's aren't going to hold the front line forward. The Stuart's outmatched by what's in front of it, but there is another Firefly on the way. A Sherman coming in as well. Oh, potentially could get a nice side shot here on this Brumbar. The Brumbar's open to side shots from both the Stuart and the Sherman. Does reface its frontal armour towards the Sherman now. The half track does go down to the Boyd's Sherman in the back, and Soloing Pixie advancing in this northern side. I feel like Herr Robert's northern flank has kind of collapsed. He's got not quite enough units on the ground right now. Still only a +1 though, and Soloing Pixie potentially going to pick up the victory here. There is only 1 minute left on this game, and I think, I think this is Herr Robert done. We are going to hit the 40-minute mark, and Soloing Pixie is going to pick up the victory. What did it all come down to? I feel like what looked like fairly easily dispatching those Königstigers without them having a real big impact on the battlefield. I feel like that's kind of what it came down to for me. It didn't really look like Soloing Pixie had to try incredibly hard to get rid of those Königstigers. He made it look fairly easy, and it isn't easy. It isn't an easy job getting rid of those Königstigers. But the Typhoon ATs did a fantastic job, especially dealing with this northern one, with those those shots into the flank of that northern Königstiger. You know, I'd have liked to have seen more pressure from Herr Robert onto this central open area, but you know, we can all sit back here seeing all the units and pick people's strategies apart, but it's very different when we're playing the game, and certainly both players are a lot better at this game than I am, so we can't be too harsh on them. Congratulations to Soloing Pixie. Picks up the victory on Caermont-Levant against Herr Robert. 40 minutes, 566 points to 173 points, and it was still fairly close until towards the end of that game, maybe the last 10 minutes, where Soloing Pixie really started to push forwards. And look at the kills losses, traded very well. I think 3,700 kills to 2,345 losses. Let's have a look at some of the kills for Soloing Pixie. And I must say, before we discuss that, I absolutely loved seeing the Guards Armoured back in action once again. I am from the UK. The Guards Armoured, obviously a UK division. The UK, pretty decent armoured division at that. And I do miss seeing these guys in action. The Guards Armoured, I think, were probably my second favourite division in Normandy, behind the Desert Rats, of course. Oh, actually, but then we have the Demi Brigade SAS and the 6th Airborne and the SBS. So wow, a hell of a lot of great British divisions. So yeah, a lot of divisions putting the great in Great Britain. That's for sure. I definitely miss seeing the Guards Armoured in action. I really loved the Guards Armoured, but I have to admit I was absolutely terrible with the Guards Armoured. I tried to use the Guards Armoured so many times. I tried to improve my play with the Guards Armoured, but I was just never a great player with them. I just could never kind of get the key tank engagements with the Guards Armoured, and you know, Solo and Pixy did a fantastic job, and it was fantastic to see the Guards Armoured playing once again on the battlefields of France and Normandy, should I say. So let's have a look at the kills for Solo and Pixy. The Humber Mark III picking up a couple of early kills, the 6-pounder getting also a couple of kills. The Firefly, the first one to make a real impact on the game. Oh, did get the Königstigr kill. Yes, that was in the southern side after the 2 Typhoon AT planes came in. The Firefly finished it off on the south, and that Firefly, yeah, did a great deal of damage, put a great deal of pressure onto Herr. He couldn't really move past that kind of gap on the southern side because of this Firefly. Great use of the Firefly from Soloing Pixy. The second Firefly making some decent kills. Potentially this one more in the northern side, I feel. But yeah, I think the key to the Guards Armoured using the Fireflies well. And Solo Wing Pixy definitely use them, as well as using the Cromwell 7s, you know, the Sextons, kind of using your armoured units very efficiently. And that Sexton was hounding that Pack 43 along with the Cromwell from the very start of the game, and Herr was lacking in those AT guns, and potentially a few more AT guns on the field. We could have seen some more of the Cromwells, some more of the Fireflies go down, potentially give himself a better time of it. The Typhoon AT coming around from the south into the north, 2 Typhoon ATs firing the rockets into the flank of the Königstigr, getting the kill. Nice job there. Nice re-micro as well. Another Firefly picking up a number of kills here. Nice work with these Fireflies. The Achilles picking up some light vehicle kills. And Solo and Pixy showed he was a fantastic, well, another Typhoon AT kill. I think this was the final one on the southern side. It was after it was tracks and wheels damaged by the 17-pounder. The Typhoon AT finished it off. Soloing Pixy showing he's an absolute class Normandy 44 player. I loved watching this game. Not quite as exciting as the Herr versus Evelyn game, but I really feel like this was a great game to really show off some great, probably more of macro gameplay from Soloing Pixy, and some great micro at times, and the combination of attacks to take out those Königstigers really worked well. That 17-pounder getting into the heavy forest, the Typhoon ATs coming down, the Firefly that was there, you know, a kind of combination of units being used all at once to take down those Königstigers. So let's have a look at the losses. The Pack 4388, I think this was the one that came in at the start, did pick up a Cromwell kill and a couple of half-tracks kills and some infantry, but is that enough to pay itself off? I'm not 100% sure on the cost of this Cromwell, but the Pack 43, 125 points, potentially just enough there to pay itself off. The Brumbar did a decent job, taking out a 6-pounder, potentially a reasonable job. The Panzer 4G getting a number of kills there, that did a decent job. The Panzer 4Gs did a great job for, well, a good enough job for Herr Robert. I think so. The Königstigr, only a couple of half-tracks and a Cromwell 7. Not really enough impact. The second Königstigr, that got a number of half-track kills. Did get the Firefly kill. the 17-pounder kill, that was the one that was in the forest. I think that got the actually got the tracks and wheel damage. So I did get revenge against that 17-pounder before it was taken down. But yeah, that one did enough, I feel like. But really, did it do enough? Actually, do you know what? I'm forgetting that these Königstigers are 350 points. So this definitely didn't do enough. This did nowhere near enough to pay itself off. This one did not enough to pay itself off. I was basing this off Steel Division 2 prices then. I was forgetting this Königstiger in Normandy's 350 points. So yeah, not enough. Not enough impact and not enough kills to kill itself off. Often the Königstigers, they're kind of there and they don't necessarily always get enough kills. They don't necessarily get an armload of kills because against top players, they know to avoid the Königstigers. You see a Königstiger on the field, you be very careful where you're microing your units so the Königstiger can't take you out. So it limits the kill list. But what it does do is it puts impact onto the battlefield because the enemy player is trying to avoid the Königstiger at all costs. He's trying to find a way to take out that Königstiger. It has more of a battlefield impact role than necessarily actually like a full-on kill list. But still, did the Königstigers do enough? No, I don't think they did enough in this game. And the final one, I don't even think got a... I think this was the third one. I think it was maybe the northern one that didn't even get a kill. So, yeah, that one definitely didn't do enough work. Hopefully, hopefully you enjoyed this game. If you have, give me the thumbs up. I mean, that's it from me today. Oh, in fact, no, it isn't. That isn't it from me today. Let's have a look at the results. Of course. So, Pixy picks up the victory against Herr Robert. That pushes him through into the losers round 4, where he faces off against Evelyn, and that game is won by Pixy. I'm not sure whether Evelyn and Pixy actually played that game. I think Evelyn potentially fought without that one being played. So we are on to the final. Next game up will be the final. We have Volhati versus Soloing Pixy. So look forward to that. Hopefully you've enjoyed the game. If you have, please give me the thumbs up. If you haven't subscribed, please subscribe, and also check out the links in the description to my Discord, Patreon, and Twitch pages. Thanks very much for watching. I am Angry Bird. I will see you next time.